Hello, I'm Georgia Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews, and this is What's Next Wall Street.
This is a show about winning trades.
Yeah, we want to help you learn about trading in a fun, entertaining, and most importantly, a useful way.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all the hot new trending products and services that you'll not only want to use, but probably like us, invest in.
We'll also cover the fundamentals of those companies to make you an informed trader and make it easier for you to target investment potential. Plus, we'll share our thoughts on where the charts and indicators say a particular stock is going so you won't miss it like it's yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday.
All this info can help you create a tailored trade plan and help you stay up to speed on what's next on Wall Street so that you can stack your gains. You can't just do it.
You can email us over at OptionsPlayers.com or hit us up on the social media sites at What's Next Wall Street with your questions. We can also direct you to the instructors and experts over at Options Players who dig into those trading fundamentals.
Absolutely. And of course, you can watch this episode and all of our past episodes on the Options Players YouTube channel or listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And listen here now. When you go on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, of course, you can comment, you can ask questions, and you need to give us 5 stars. Or don't give us any stars at all. Okay? We don't play those games. But we do play games with one of our favorites, Greg Krause from Options Players. You are lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com. We are so happy to have you here with us today so we can just bug you while you're here. We can ask you any question we want, right? Welcome Greg.
Greg.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions to start out?
No. You jump in. Do it.
No.
Go.
Okay, no. We'll get at you in a minute.
All right.
Okay, Greg. Pfizer developed a COVID-19 pill. It says reduces the risk of hospitalization and death by 89% in high-risk people. So the experimental drug is taken for 5 days to prevent the COVID virus from making copies of itself. So the results of Pfizer's study were so impressive that an independent panel recommended its clinical trial be stopped early. Medical experts say Pfizer's pill will not replace COVID shots, but could be a powerful tool to prepare the world for a future in which people continue to get infected by the virus. So the data hasn't been peer-reviewed or published yet, but Pfizer says it's going to submit its data to the FDA as soon as possible.
So, of course, Pfizer shares surged thanks to that news. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Moderna shares plunged more than 40%, and Merck fell nearly 10%. Those are both to the news about a therapeutic. Now, we're headed back to the skies, and since the international travel ban is over, airlines are expecting a surge as the U.S. reopens to visitors with the COVID vaccine. Delta alone has already seen a 450% increase in bookings over the last 6 weeks. The borders have been closed for nearly 20 months, but open for the last 3. So several countries, including Brazil, China, India, the UK, and much of Europe, the passengers coming in from those countries to the U.S. will have to show proof of vaccination and submit a negative test before flying. As for driving, only those vaccinated can enter from Canada and Mexico. But look at how they celebrated the news at the Heathrow Airport.
That's cute.
So I like that Elvis in the middle.
So cute.
And
that's how we're known, huh?
Yeah.
That's America.
America.
Okay, America.
All right, Greg, have the gains on travel stocks been made? Should we stay away from the Corona biotech plays? What say you with travel and medicine?
I think travel, there's a lot of good areas there because we really haven't seen that revenue really come back. Let's just take how many vacations have y'all been on in the last 6 months?
He's been on like 7.
I know, not him, because he's been going overseas and staying in his little bubbles and stuff the whole time. But, I mean, you know, we go to Miami every quarter, go to Vegas, and we haven't been doing that. So I would say when you get back to being normal, most people are going to be back to a little bit normality there. Now, on the biotech side, that's a huge issue. So will Pfizer's pill, actually come about anytime soon? Mm-hmm. First off, how many people understand how the FDA approves things, right? So
now anything can get approved if it has
so
to do
first
with
off,
COVID.
this is what amazes me. Now, I do not have a medical background. I am a corporate guy, finance, things like that. But when this came out, it astonished me to find out that the FDA doesn't do any research. They just read the company who made the stuff's research and comes up. Is is that really how that works? 'Cause
Hey, it
that's
worked for Theranos.
Hey, that's just out of this world. Like, hey, this doctor who made this said it does this. But I also found out that you can't have experimental drugs or speed up stuff while there's a treatment. So it's amazing that now that the vaccine is FDA approved, magically a treatment pill shows up like immediately.
That's true. The
right.
turnaround time
Like,
was pretty quick.
Pretty
Like,
perfect,
we didn't
right?
have that a while back.
So we knew that it was there.
Let's not be conspiracy theorists, but we're
That's
all
not
being, we're all being
not a
conspiracy
theory.
But they, as
You know,
I read into this, they said it was derived from information they took during the first SARS pandemic, which was 2005 research, that they said, maybe we should open that case file again.
So, but now with the vaccine, do these antiviral treatments are going to be, or is that going to be? I think it's going to be who can come up with a thing to stop all variants, right? That's the one. That's what we need, right? So that's the vaccine that's going to make the money. It'll take everybody else. So, take all the other Pfizers and everybody else out. And I know there was already another antiviral drug already out. Started with the M. What was it like?
Well, remdesivir.
No, not that one. It was.
But there's been several that have been approved.
Like
the
America or something like
monoclonal
that? I don't know.
Antibiotics as well. So there's a lot going on. But look, if you're telling me that now that we've got our vaccines, we need to get shot every 4 months or every 6 months, it seems like the vaccines did not really work that well to begin with. So I'm all for something that will work with more viability.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's whoever comes up, that's where it's going to be. I think any company that's going to just make a killing out of this and is going to make money hands over fist, especially here in the United States and the current culture that we're in, they're going to meet some issues, right? I believe either with the people are going to be like, hey, you're getting rich off of this. And then, if we were getting mad at Elon Musk for making, electric cars and things and yelling at him, but we're not going to yell at a drug company that's making money off of a pandemic. I think you're probably have some issues there. One person is making money off a pandemic. The other person is, just being his
a
crazy
nerd.
surf. Yeah,
A super cool nerd.
Yeah.
Right. But you guys, I mean, we have to take the flu shot, or we're supposed to take the flu shot every year.
There's
Somebody's
no more
making
flu,
money off
right?
that.
My body, my choice, Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, most of y'all know I'm in the military, and the military had this thing like, oh, you got to take the vaccine. I'm retired, but like, I don't even know what shots I got when I was in the military. Like, 20-something years ago when I lined up, a little infantryman, they just came and just stuck me with like 80 needles and they're just like, hey, sit down on that mat. They're like, hey, you're about to go to war. Here goes some smallpox and here's some anthrax. Made your arm feel like it was on fire. I didn't know what I was getting, and now people are like, I don't want to get it. I'm like, yeah, you know how many shots we got?
Exactly.
Like, I
You
didn't
know how many
even
shots
know-
you got before you left the hospital?
I
as a
didn't even
baby?
know tetanus. There was a vaccine for tetanus.
There is?
Yeah, I don't know. I just got told by the VA I
got
needed
a
another
tetanus
one.
shot.
You know what I'm saying? So,
So
every 10 years or so. So
You're safe to step on a rusty nail
Yeah.
over my
Wait,
though,
place.
yeah,
Come
I
on
I didn't
over.
even know I had that.
I got a tetanus shot every 10 years. You get one every 10 years?
I don't know.
You haven't gotten one?
Probably not in 20 years.
Yeah, I don't
Well, you
know.
better
I
not
just
step on a
got
rusty
one.
nail.
That's
So
a MO.
I didn't know it was a vaccine. I just know, hey, if it was rusty, I'd go get a tetanus shot. So, I think it's kind of risky to say, hey, go into this one or go into that. I think some of these companies that come down and they're not real cash solid companies. So with inflation, that's an issue. There's some risks in there also. So, talk to a financial val. What does that do with your beta or your overall risk? Because that they have severe risks. Biotechs have always been hit or miss. Some of your more established ones like Pfizer probably don't jump so crazy, but they have jumped.
But I think I read Pfizer is getting a $2.2 billion contract from the U.S. government for these pills, and they haven't even been certified yet. So the whole phrase, buy on the rumor, sell on the news, what I'm afraid of is the news could be like, oh, by the way, that pill doesn't work.
What I would do is I would look at the politicians and see what they're purchasing. And if they're starting to purchase, say, like some Pfizer stocks, it's safe to say you should probably buy some Pfizer.
How do we get on that inside track?
know.
to know what they're
I mean,
doing?
it's they have to report it. So there's plenty of websites out there. I don't want to
Tell us later.
no, I don't want to plug a company or something, but it's public information.
Okay.
So you can actually go get it.
Do they have to buy more than $10,000 worth?
No.
or
Any
just whatever.
anything they
this
do
is
tracked.
great.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
This is
yeah.
awesome. I'm
Oh,
going to find
okay.
out.
Use your Googler, kids.
So
Use your Googler. Well, that's good to know. I'm going to check it out.
and then, like you said, sell the news. All right,
right.
right when it comes out.
Today's pro tip is brought to you by OptionsPlayers.com. When you are unsure of short-term movements, you can really benefit from short-term hedges against long-term holdings. Did you get all that? In fact, many times you will win both ways on these types of strategies. If you have a long-term thesis and don't want to sell the play earlier than planned, but have some current market concerns, then you can hedge by taking a cheap short-term play in the opposite direction. Now, this will protect you against a quick loss if the market goes against your original plan. Now, this strategy can not only protect, but you can end up winning both positions along the way. We hope this tip works to help you stack and protect.
All right, so this is the part of the show where we get to hear from you. We love this. You can always hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street or email us at www.OptionsPlayers.com. Chris from Frisco, Texas. Well, howdy, neighbor. Okay, Chris wants to know if it's too late for the U.S. government to take out crypto or change the landscape dramatically. That's the money question, one that I'm going to have to flip over to Greg. What say you, Greg?
Yeah, it's not too late. I think the number one threat to cryptocurrency or any currency or anything you trade is always government interference, regulation, right?
China shut down crypto overnight.
But not just limiting that, you have taxes, right? We talked about it a few episodes ago about taxing unrealized gains. So that is a regulation that can dramatically affect cryptocurrencies, growth, because you would have to sell off some of those holdings. And when you're talking about cryptocurrencies that go up by hundreds and thousands of % a year, some of these meme ones especially, you have to sell them. You can't diamond hand it anymore. You got like hands because you got to sell a little bit.
What he means by that is the stock will go, the crypto will go from 0 to 300 to 2,000. And then as soon as all the players realize like, oh, this is just a fake stock that has no balance sheet or anything behind it, then it'll go back to 0 again. So are you stuck with that tax liability then?
Well, not from its highest, right? Because normally, how will you tax unrealized gains? In the history, it's normally done at the end of the year or the end of your fiscal year if you're a corporation. Unless you're doing millions and millions of dollars, the IRS is going to require that unless you ask for special permission to be at the end of the year. Okay, so at the end of the year, if you bought at this and you were holding, that's when you would hold it, right?
So your Dogecoin, make sure you're not holding on December 31st at midnight if it tanks the next day.
Yeah, because you'd be bad. So that's why you have to sell it. And a lot of people you see reallocate funds or reallocate in like big EFTs or something like that. They reallocate every nest. So, and it's not really for tax purposes, but corporations do that also do their annuals. They owe taxes, they pull it out, and they do that. Although most of the time they just sell some bonds, raise some money to pay off the taxes because it's cheaper that way.
But you at home probably aren't going to be able to do that.
Yeah,
so
but
if you've got the money, take out the house money. Ride what you earned, but take the house money out to pay taxes.
Like you said, can the government take it down? Let's put it like this: what is maybe not in our lifetime, but yeah, what is the number one investment in our lifetime? If you knew about it right now and you can hop in a DeLorean and go back in time, it'd probably be like 2009, right? Yeah. So you could buy some Bitcoin at like 30.
And not buy a pizza with it.
Not buy a pizza with it, right?
Those 3 Bitcoin pizzas, man, those guys feel like chumps.
But, you can go back and, buy a few thousand for just, a day's work. That's our largest gainer. So what's going to happen when all these people that have that money, that becomes the fun? And if it keeps going up, if you don't think the government is going to want to get a piece of that and change the rules, I don't know where you've been living, okay? Because the government goes, oh, we like you, we like you, we like you. We need money, we don't like you, okay? It is what it is. All right?
Well, with all the handouts that have been made in the last 2 years because of COVID relief, do you think the government might need to be paid back? Think about that. All right. Our next email comes from Jimmy in Toronto, and he asks, how long should I be trading consistently before I know I can do this full time and quit my day job? Well, this is a 2-part question. So first, I would ask, why would you quit your day job when you can trade and earn a salary at the same time? You do have to pay for those taxes, Sure, it's great not to have to report to anyone, but that salary is great to apply to your financial goals until it's clearly obvious that you should leave. That has always been my answer, but Canadian healthcare is a little bit better than the US. So you must be killing it though. So often though it's obvious, you should leave the situation. So just like love, you know it in your heart. Until then, take the advantage of both and stack and enjoy that Canadian healthcare.
Yeah. So wait, back to those handouts. How do I get one?
Oh, you made too much. Oh, you didn't get your 600 bones. All right. So other than Georgia, if any of you at home have a question, we can answer it if you send it over to us, or we'll find someone else who can. Hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street, or email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com with your questions. So Georgia, Thanksgiving weekend is coming up in America.
Yes.
And you know what that means? It's time to go shopping for new gadgets and gear. Kill me now. Well, since I like collecting, rebuilding, and recycling, I wanted to show some of the precursors to the modern digital mobile phone age that we're in today. Now, this first device is my favorite. It's a 1993, $4,000 at the time, early generation Motorola brick phone called the Dynatac. This had a battery that lasted for only 30 minutes of calls.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
this one's a prized possession as I had it signed by the inventor,
No, you did.
Marty Cooper. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
He and I were both speakers at an event, and I brought mine along for his autograph. Now, you might remember this as either the Gordon Gekko phone from the movie Wall Street or the Zach Morris phone from Saved by the Bell. Either way, I won't judge. It's the first portable cell phone that created a revolution and a monster. Like, think about how addicted we are from that. All right, next up is from a decade later. It's the 1994 IBM Simon communicator. And what an advanced bit of technology this was for the time. It cost only $1,000 versus $4,000 for the last one. And it was discounted to $599 if you signed up for a 2-year agreement. You remember those? It used a capacitive touchscreen display that you wrote on here and a stylus. It was made by IBM. And you could send rudimentary text messages to even send and receive faxes and take notes and do limited email.
Wow.
Now, the battery lasted less than an hour, but you could snap on an extra battery on the back and keep it going over and over and over. Now, they sold 50,000 of these versus the Motorola. So we seem to be in the middle of a technology backlash now with social media super log-offs, Apple screen time showing us how to limit our time on devices. But this wasn't a new idea, as you can see with these next two products. First up is the Nokia lipstick phone, so-called
that?
from the L'Amour collection of 2004. Now, this phone has no display, just a jog wheel to dial your speed dial numbers and a camera to take crappy VGO low-resolution photos from your night out on the Champs-Élysées. Now, less is definitely more in this stylized phone that will fit into any jewel-encrusted Parisian purse.
Let's put that in my little pocket.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So back in the relatively recent era of 2017, a Kickstarter campaign for the Light phone launched as a way to just talk already in the middle of the Android versus the iPhone and Samsung patent wars. Now, this product had no camera, no apps, and it would only make and receive calls from a form factor that was about the size of a stack of credit cards. What's cool is if you used it with your normal phone, it would do call forwarding, so you didn't need to give your friends a new number. Now, what wasn't cool was that your friends could not send you an iMessage saying, "Where you at?" Because who talks today anyway, especially in a loud
This
club.
is ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous. Are you serious?
Right?
Oh my God.
So I was going through all these old phones, and I wanted to show you my smallest one as well. This is about the same size as an Apple AirTag. And I talked about the AirTag before. This is a gadget that lets you find your backpack that we talked about on prior shows. Now, the Apple product, the round piece, requires that the iPhone nearby as a way to relay where this tag was last seen. But this, the SmartThings Tracker by Samsung, this uses the Verizon cellular network all by itself to put breadcrumbs on a map to show where it was last seen. Now, I use this in my boat, my classic car, even my Sea-Doo when I take them to different cities to keep track of them in case they were to disappear. Now, it's just like OnStar, but it fits in the palm of your hand. Now, I've even put one on my mountain bike to collect route data that I've traveled to see my mileage or elevation through breadcrumbs. It's pretty cool. So that's a look down communication memory lane. So try not to spend all of your money on the latest tech gear for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Oh my gosh, crazy. All right, so Americans are feeling fancy these days. What is that?
Oh, it's my Sky Pager. Oh, it's for you.
This is not a real beeper.
Got a beep
Wait,
from a girl named Natty. My memory slipped because I need a new battery.
why does it still work? How do you have it still beeping, Sir Mix-a Nothing?
I have a Nixie 2 watch that came out of the Russian space program on my arm that works.
Who are
I'm
you?
Gadget Guy.
Oh my gosh, if you'll take this beeper. Wow, that's cool though. All right, so part of the reason we're feeling fancy is that it's that time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. The holidays are upon us, and the pandemic seems to have slowed down so much. So now gyms, they took a major hit during the pandemic as people created at-home gyms with Pelotons and mirrors and tonals. That's what I'm trying to get. I got tonal on my Christmas list, Santa. I know you want me to get that body, yaddy, 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 yaddy back. So anyway, make it happen, but I digress. It's always about my Christmas list, isn't it? All right, so a lot of consumers are headed back to the gym, according to Planet Fitness CEO Chris Rondeau. So Planet Fitness members are almost back to pre-pandemic numbers. The company's reached 15 million members. So are brick and mortar fitness clubs underrated investment potential? Oh, no. Exponential Fitness, which includes brands like Club Pilates, Cycle Bar, Stretch Lab, and others, IPO'd in July at XPOF, sold at F45. It's F45 training. Aren't those in California?
They're all over.
Okay.
They're in strip malls.
Okay. All right. So it was a really important influence status with F45 since it's backed by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch member Mark Wahlberg. Yes. Okay. He's an actor too, but he's always going to be Marky Mark to me. Okay. Anyway, F45 is unique in that it offers studio and at-home workouts. So that's cool. Now, those are just a couple on my list, and I'm watching to see what happens with Equinox Holdings because, hello, SoulCycle. I know Peloton stocks have been down recently, especially after the company slashed its full-year outlook because of slowing demand for fitness products. But my gosh, doesn't everybody who wants a Peloton already have one? I mean, you can basically buy them and pay monthly on them. Maybe now is the best time to buy Peloton, though. I'm talking about the stock. So, Greg, what do you think? Should I be investing in brick and mortar fitness clubs or should I stick with at-home fitness brands like Peloton? What say you?
The brick and mortar ones might be hard to pinpoint some of those. A lot of those are not large tradable, companies that you might want to trade in. Now, the ones that do, I think they will see a surge, but because let's just be honest, we want to get out of the house. If you've been stuck in the house with, I live in an area where the kids go to school and they go to private school anyway, so they always go. But, if you've been trying to teach kids school and and you've been stuck, you want to get away from that, right?
Yes.
You go to the gym, throw them in a daycare or something. That might swing that demand there for
Throw them in a daycare. Father of the year.
Right there. Boom.
This guy. Father of the year.
And then leave the gym and go somewhere else where you're not supposed to leave the gym.
We might need to get a drink after the workout. Let's get a beer or two. Carb up.
Carb up with some Big Macs or something. But then you also have Peloton that I think will be the future. Like most things, brick and mortar is slowly going away. Will it be Peloton or will it be like, Apple or Amazon or somebody like that? Who knows? Netflix could do it. Everybody's got a Netflix account, right? Netflix is going to be like, hey, just come here. We'll just give you free stuff all the time. Got to cost less than all the other shows they do.
Right.
So there's a lot of options out there. Which ones will survive? I think it will more likely over time be the more digital ones more than the brick and mortars. I think the brick and mortars will probably lean more to mom and pop shops. Now in the large cities, you might have the
big 24-hour fitness
24-hour fitness chains because not everybody has an apartment. Some people live in apartments they can't have. Like in my house.
That sounds like a herd of buffalo underneath Georgia working out.
Yeah, so like in my house, I have two huge commercial. I don't even know what they are. I just got them at an auction there for the wife.
Like a weight machine? Or?
No, they're like the ellipticals, but they're also like the stair
I don't know what I
stepper
bought, but you're
things.
supposed to work out with
Nordic track or
but it's not a Nordic track. It's like the ones you see at the gym, like the monster ones.
Wow.
Yeah, I got them at an auction at a military MWR auction. I got them for like $35. They're worth like $10,000, whatever.
It cost you $200 to move them.
Yeah. Well, I got a Dodge truck. I just threw them in the back of there with some buddies. We've had them for a while. That's great. No, we don't even use those. But not everybody has that space. So, the gym's going to be good. What to invest in? That is a hard one. Peloton is been priced pretty high. I know when it really shot up at the beginning of the pandemic,
It's like 160 or something.
we were like, oh, this is definitely going to come down from there.
Yeah.
We made money on both ways on trading it up with all the momentum. And then we're like, okay, where do we start shorting this? And to be honest, I shorted it way early, but whatever. I have the capital to hold that short. And then finally it came back below my entry. So it's a hard one to say. I would say it varies. Peloton or something like that, if you get in the right area, could be the future. Maybe not just them, but like you said, some of them that do both might be where you might want to find your spot. I wouldn't go all in one, and I wouldn't really be worrying about exercise anyways. I think it's kind of the digital is too high right now anyways.
But what's unique about Peloton and these device tonal, those things where devices attached to the subscription, is the device and the subscription are married together. Unlike Netflix, where, think about it, the biggest secret in the world is 5 families share a Netflix account.
Sure.
So a single login. Now with Apple, with the Fitness Plus program, they're allowing you to work out with others. So what they're trying to do is add this social element of it. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. But Apple, they want that ARPU, that average revenue per user, to go up. And that way they say, like, let us back up your photos. And you're spending $99 a month for, 99 cents a month for backups, up to $99 a year for backups, depending on that more storage. So they want your Apple TV, they want your Apple Fitness, they want all that money.
Yeah, if Apple decided to make a bike and it was the worst bike ever made on the planet,
Everybody would have it.
it would be the number one selling bike.
Absolutely.
Right? Just because of
Absolutely.
that ecosystem they have there.
For sure.
Although Apple doesn't really make garbage products so much. So you would expect it to cost somewhere around $95,000 and it would sell out. Like
Well, I
day
definitely
one.
want the Apple car, which I'm sure I'll pay
Yeah, yeah.
$95,000 for.
Sure.
Hey, thanks a lot, Greg. We want to thank you. Greg Krause, so good to have you in the studio
Yes,
with us these past
yes.
3 weeks.
And so, you know what? I think that I might take some advice or not invest in exercise, but just invest in bigger leggings, like a larger size. So anyway, remember, if you've got questions, we can try to help you answer them, or maybe Greg can, and we'd love to hear from you. Email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com, or you can hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street.
You can, of course, watch episodes of What's Next Wall Street on Options Players' YouTube page. Since it's Thanksgiving weekend, why don't you subscribe as well? Listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast. I'm Dave Mathews, and I'm so yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Yesterday.
I'll hurry this up. I'm Georgia Alfredas. See you next time on What's Next Wall Street. Make sure you tell a friend about our show, and make sure you subscribe.
Ta-da.